Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fluctus Channel. The US military's ability to respond quickly across the world depends on a simple but powerful idea. Keep heavy equipment close to where it may be needed before a crisis begins. Instead of waiting for tanks, trucks, bridge systems, weapons carriers, repair assets, and sustainment gear to sail from the continental United States, the Army and Marine Corps position equipment in warehouses, ports, ships, and forward sites across key regions. These preposition stocks shorten the distance between a warning order and real combat engagement. In Europe, rows of heavy expanded mobility tactical trucks, Humvees, transport vehicles, Oshkosh M1070 tank transporter tractors, trailers, and bridge components sit ready inside Army preposition stock facilities. The equipment is maintained at a level where soldiers can draw it, inspect it, load it, and move it toward a mission in far less time than a full transoceanic deployment would require. That same idea is now visible in Asia during exercise Balikatan 26, the long-standing annual exercise between the armed forces of the Philippines and the US military. Balikatan is more than a training event. It is a practical test of alliance logistics across islands, ports, road networks, and coastal staging areas. In the Philippines, the problem is not only how to bring forces into the region, but how to keep them supplied when operations are spread across long maritime distances. At Cagayan de Oro on March 15 and 16, 2026, U.S. Marines assigned to I-Marine Expeditionary Force worked with Philippine contractors during a maritime prepositioning force offload. Vehicles and equipment came ashore as teams controlled movement from ship-based platforms into local support nodes. Every ramp, guide signal, and cargo movement formed part of a larger chain, turning stored equipment into usable power for the exercise. Days later, on March 28, the same distributed maritime logistics concept unfolded at Subic Bay. Cargo was received, sorted, and prepared for onward movement, proving that sustainment can be pushed through multiple locations rather than concentrated in one vulnerable hub. This is the heart of distributed sustainment: offload, distribution, and regeneration through afloat platforms, ashore nodes, and transportation networks. Once gear reaches land, the work is not finished. Crews check conditions, organize cargo, identify what must move first, and prepare the equipment for units that will need it. A prepositioned vehicle is only useful when it has fuel, paperwork, trained operators, spare parts, and a route to the next destination. Balikatan 26 demonstrates that modern military strength begins before the first maneuver. The alliance between the Philippines and the United States is tested not only through weapons and tactics, but through the quiet precision of logistics. By spreading equipment across Cagayan de Oro and Subic Bay, the exercise shows how prepared forces can move faster, survive disruption, and support regional security across the Pacific. This is why prepositioning is treated as a combat multiplier. A ship can carry far more than an aircraft, but a ship needs time, port access, discharge teams, and secure distribution routes. By keeping equipment afloat or already positioned near partner nations, commanders avoid losing critical days while a crisis is growing. They can fly personnel forward, connect them with vehicles and supplies already close to the theater, and begin building a force package immediately. In an island environment like the Philippines, that speed matters even more. The same truck, generator, container, or communication shelter may support a landing site, a temporary storage yard, a convoy, or a repair point several islands away. That is the real foundation of rapid response right away. Across the other side of the world, the same principle has been tested on a much larger continental scale. Europe has long been one of the most important proving grounds for U.S. prepositioning, because any major reinforcement of the continent requires ports, roads, rail lines, border crossings, host nation coordination, and NATO interoperability working at once. During Defender Europe 20, the U.S. vessel Ark Endurance arrived at Bremerhaven port in Germany. The operation turned a commercial harbor into a gateway for American armored power. Tugboats guided the ship into position. Dock workers prepared the pier. Military personnel handled movement control. And the ship's ramp became the first link between the Atlantic crossing and training areas deep inside Europe. Tracked and wheeled vehicles rolled down the ramp in a steady sequence. M1 Abrams tanks, armored personnel carriers, support trucks, trailers, and other vehicles were guided by soldiers and civilian port workers. Each vehicle had to be controlled carefully because even one heavy tracked platform can weigh dozens of tons and leave little room for error on a steel ramp or crowded pier. German port personnel checked paperwork, while U.S. port soldiers watched spacing, safety, and direction. This arrival was part of Defender Europe 20, a U.S.-led multinational exercise designed to demonstrate that large formations could deploy from the United States, arrive in Europe, and move onward with allies. It was described as the largest deployment of U.S.-based troops to Europe in 25 years, involving 16 NATO allies and 20,000 soldiers deploying directly from the United States to Europe. Those numbers turned the exercise into a test of strategy as much as transportation. The offload at Bremerhaven also showed why ports remain essential in modern warfare. Aircraft can move people quickly, but armored brigades still need ships to deliver tanks, recovery vehicles, engineering equipment, ammunition carriers, and sustainment fleets in real volume. Once the ship is secured, every vehicle must be started, inspected, marshaled, and released in sequence. That process creates order from thousands of tons of moving hardware. Army preposition stocks add another layer to this system. Instead of bringing every asset across the ocean at once, the Army stores equipment sets around the globe for use when combatant commanders require additional capabilities. APS-2 is designated for Europe, with work sites such as Zoetendaal in Belgium and other locations supporting rapid response. In those facilities, heavy equipment is not parked and forgotten. It is preserved, checked, serviced, inventoried, and prepared for soldiers who may arrive by air and fall in on gear already in theater. At Zoetendaal, soldiers prepared around 100 enhanced heavy equipment transporter systems for convoy movement. These massive transport systems are built for the kind of work ordinary trucks cannot handle. Moving tanks and other heavy platforms over long distances without wearing down tracks, damaging roads, or slowing road marches. Preparing them means checking trailers, tires, lights, tie-down points, brakes, fluids, radios, and convoy markings. The purpose is deterrence through readiness. A warehouse full of clean vehicles means little unless it can become a moving brigade support package on short notice. APS gives planners options, reduces deployment timelines, reassures allies, and signals to potential adversaries that the force is not starting from zero. From Bremerhaven to Belgian work sites, the heavy hardware is part of a wider response network built to receive, draw, move, fight, and regenerate. The result is a layered deployment model. Sea lift brings mass, ports create access, preposition stocks add speed, and sustainment units turn parked equipment into operational formations. Europe's roads and railheads then carry that force forward together. Once the equipment is ashore or drawn from storage, the next challenge is movement. Heavy forces do not simply drive away in one long line. They are broken into packets, loaded onto transporters, routed through civilian infrastructure, escorted through towns and highways, then received at training areas or forward positions. In Germany, soldiers with the 16th Sustainment Brigade transported M1 Abrams tanks from the Coleman worksite in Mannheim to Grafenwöhr. These tanks were part of the 405th Army Field Support Brigade's APS-2 stocks, drawn to support incoming armored forces. Moving an Abrams is a deliberate process. The tank must be aligned with the transporter ramp, guided by ground crews, secured with chains, checked for height and weight restrictions, and moved along approved routes that can handle its size. The route itself becomes part of the mission. Bridges, intersections, rail crossings, fuel stops, weather, civilian traffic, and convoy spacing all matter. A heavy equipment transporter keeps a tracked vehicle from burning fuel unnecessarily or damaging road surfaces, while allowing sustainment units to deliver combat power where maneuver commanders need it. During Defender Europe 20, U.S. convoys crossed from Germany into Poland at Kobaskowo. Humvees, heavy expanded mobility tactical trucks, and family of medium tactical vehicles moved through the border area, while U.S. soldiers and Polish authorities coordinated the passage. Military vehicles often moved at night to reduce disruption to civilian traffic, proving that large military movement in Europe depends on discipline as much as speed. After arrival, units still have to draw, check, and prepare equipment. In Poland, crews inspected prepositioned vehicles, issued training systems, checked maintenance status, and prepared platforms for exercise tasks. A tank or truck leaving storage must be treated like a living system. Batteries, fluids, tracks, tires, weapons mounts, communications equipment, safety items, and records all have to match the mission. Then comes fuel. Fueling armored vehicles is a major operation because heavy platforms consume large quantities and cannot be allowed to run dry. The final stage is recovery and regeneration. At Konotop Drasko Pomorsky training area, soldiers washed vehicles before redeploying to Fort Hood, Texas. Mud, dust, oil, and field debris must be removed before transport and inspections. Clean vehicles are easier to inspect, safer to load, and better prepared for the next mission again. From Asian ports to European highways, the pattern is the same. Military power is built through arrival, offload, staging, movement, maintenance, fueling, training, recovery, and return. The real achievement is the system behind it. Soldiers, allies, contractors, port workers, transporters, warehouses, ships, and roads working together to make heavy combat power appear where needed. That is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. See you next time.